Like most automakers today, Cadillac started as a car company, but now makes the bulk of its money with SUVs. The massive Escalade is probably the most familiar nameplate, but step down one below it and you have my tester, the 2023 Cadillac XT6. The smaller XT4 and XT5 have 2 rows of seats, while the XT6 and Escalade are the only Cadillacs with 3 rows. The XT6 starts with the same basic platform engineering as the Chevrolet Traverse and GMC Acadia, but this isn't a case of just putting different badges on each one. They all share engines, but the Cadillac is a bit shorter than the Traverse and longer than the Acadia, and with slight differences in legroom in their 3 rows. The XT6 comes in 3 trim levels, starting with the Luxury at $59,498. From there, the Premium Luxury and my Sport Tester both begin at $64,898. But much can be optioned on, and my vehicle comes in at just over $82,000 before freight and taxes. The base Luxury uses a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that makes 235 horsepower. The Premium Luxury and Sport both replace that with a 3.6-liter V6, making 310 horsepower and 271 foot-pounds of torque. Both engines use a 9-speed automatic transmission. The XT6's all-wheel drive system primarily drives the front wheels, and in the selectable Tour Drive mode, that's all it does. Change that to the all-wheel drive modes and it transfers power to the rear wheels as needed. While all XT6 trims have all-wheel drive, the Sport trim exclusively uses a dual-clutch system that can further distribute power between the left and right wheels for improved handling and traction. If necessary, it can send as much as 100% of power to just one tire. The Sport also has a Sport-tuned suspension and quicker ratio steering, along with Brembo front brakes. That sounds sporty enough, but the XT6 never lets you forget that it's a 2-ton-plus SUV. Its V6 engine does a decent job, but its too stiff throttle needs some tweaking. If you don't press hard enough, then very little happens, so you put your foot down harder and get more go-ahead than you might want. It's hard to modulate and it gets tiring. The ride is smooth enough, but it can get noisy for something that's wearing a Cadillac badge. I took it on a 5-hour straight-through trip, made easier with my tester's Super Cruise. It's a hands-free system that builds on the adaptive cruise control. It only works on highways that are pre-mapped into it, but there are some 350,000 kilometers of those in Canada and the US. Once you're on a pre-map stretch, a little white steering wheel icon shows up in the display. Press the Super Cruise button and you get a green good to go light in the steering wheel. From there, Super Cruise handles the steering, throttle, and distance from traffic in front. You don't touch the wheel, but you still have to pay attention. If it detects you're not, the system first warns you and then shuts off so you have to steer. My drive was long and boring, and it was pleasant to have the XT6 handle it, including in stop-and-go traffic through a highway construction zone. Some versions of Super Cruise can even change lanes or work when a trailer's attached, but the XT6 hasn't upgraded to that yet. On this one, you steer into the next lane yourself, but once you're in it, Super Cruise automatically takes over again. My trip was made better by the supportive seats, which stayed comfortable all the way through. Those front seats are heated and cooled, but the icon-style controls can often be a bit slow to respond. Those in the second row also get heated seats, along with their own temperature controls. The third row is tighter, and it can be a chore for tall people to squeeze in, although there's a bit more leg space than in some 3-row competitors. If you fill all the seats, ask your passengers to pack light, because there's very little cargo space when that third row is up, although there is a hidden panel under the floor that might help a little bit. Both those rows power fold down to increase cargo capacity. The third row also goes up electrically. You have to put the second row seats back up yourself, but while many SUVs require you to simultaneously pull a lever to release them, the XT6's chairs can be conveniently lifted back with one hand. Towing capacity is up to 4,000 pounds with an available tow package. The 8-inch center screen can be operated by touch or the console-mounted controller, and it includes navigation, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, satellite radio, and Bose premium audio. Other features include a head-up display, power adjustable and heated steering wheel, wireless charger, and tri-zone climate control. Overall, the XT6 has its pros and cons. It's a comfortable vehicle, especially if you do a lot of highway driving, and it offers a lot of upscale features. On the downside, those add-ons drive the price up fast, and the interior design and materials don't always look like you paid that much for it. And while it has 3 rows, that third one is tight for passengers and for cargo. These are all things to consider if the Cadillac XT6 is a consideration for you. For Driving.ca, I'm Jill McIntosh, and for more news and reviews, be sure to visit us on Instagram and Twitter.